Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Jo Taranto, and this is Good for a Chat. And I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land I'm on, the Wallumattagal, and acknowledge that we are on Aboriginal land and pay respects to elders past and present. I'd also like to recognise wherever you've joined us from today, whether it's Brisbane, like our wonderful guest, or somewhere else in the beautiful country that we live in, that you are on an Aboriginal nation. And if you'd like to share where you are today, please feel free to do that in the chat. This is a place where we meet people who are making change in Australian communities, whether that's in neighbourhoods and on streets, or in workplaces, or across industries and networks. These are people like you who care enough to step in, who are doing their part and are learning more and more about systems and structures and relationships which can do good. And today we're certainly meeting one of those wonderful people. It's my very great honour to introduce you to Chelsea McLean today. Chelsea is someone I've met through the work that we do at Good for the Hood. And she's a little bit of a powerhouse. I was at an event a few years ago and someone said, "You have to meet Chelsea." And I said, "Who's Chelsea?" And they said, "Well, Chelsea's one of those people that's a magnet for other people. She's a PR guru and she's also incredibly passionate about the circular economy." And I said, "She sounds like a top person. Introduce me." So ever since, Chelsea and I have been meeting up virtually. I don't think we've actually met in person yet. But please welcome Chelsea McLean. She's the founder of Circular Economy Pioneers, and she also does some amazing work with Planet Ark. Welcome, Chelsea.
Thank you so much for having me, Jo. I'm such a fan of yours. It's such a two-way street. And hi, everyone. I'm on the Gold Coast, which is the land of the Coomba people of the Yugambeh language. And I'm so happy to be here today.
Thank you, Chelsea. Yes, we've been chatting all things circular for a little while, but you tell me about how you found yourself. You've always been a Queensland girl, and have you always been interested in environmental work?
Yeah, well, I've been doing PR consulting for nearly 20 years now, and I've always had a niche. So it was well-being. Before that, it was travel and tourism, and I decided I wanted to go into this space with deliberate intention about 4 or 5 years ago, and that's how I ended up getting into circular economy space.
And you've worked with a lot of other brands. That's obviously what public relations people generally do, is
Yes.
you help people to get exposure or press or positive media. Is that a fair summation of PR, or is it more than that?
Absolutely. PR is all about definitely perceptions and generating media editorial publicity, creating platforms, creating trust, building awareness, and also building relationships with people. So that also means connecting dots. And to be honest, I first heard about the circular economy when I was helping BioBag, one of my clients based in Adelaide, about 4 years ago as a PR consultant. And a biobag is an amazing thing in Australia, especially because every household there has a FOGO bin in metro areas. So that means people can put their food and garden organics into a bin where it's collected and taken away for industrial composting. And in fact, Woolworths has just replaced all of their plastic produce bags with biobags all throughout South Australia. So it's just a fantastic example that switched me on to systems thinking and also, circular thinking. So that's how I came to be here.
And you were doing a whole bunch of work when I first met you on soil and on looking at the circularity, I guess, of waste, and also the opportunities to build soil and make these great life supporting systems. Can you tell us a little bit about the work you were doing there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I got really invested in the idea of diverting organics away from landfill, because almost half of what makes up our household bins and a lot of commercial waste is organics. And it really just should not be going to landfill. It emits methane. It's really bad for greenhouse gas emissions. And really, our soil is a finite resource, and we absolutely need to be regenerating soil to be able to regenerate natural systems. So that's what really got me into the idea of soil health, which is critical to circular economy principles. And then I started working with a large industrial composter, Soil Co, and all with the intention that soil, really everything, it's all about the soil, really, when you bring it down to a nutshell.
And so you've found yourself now, I guess, fairly entrenched in, I guess, this concept of the circular economy, and you're working very closely, in a couple of roles, deeply in that. So what was it about the circular economy? And for those who don't really understand what the circular economy is, what was it about it that excited you?
Well, to be honest, it's really that we can't get to zero carbon without a circular economy. The transition to renewable energy can cut about 55% of the Paris Agreement carbon reductions needed, and the remaining 45% are locked in products and food. So that means that a circular economy can cut about 45% of the global greenhouse gas emissions reductions we need to make, and that's from a report by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. And so I think it's really important to note, though, that circular economy efforts are in line with carbon neutral economy efforts, are in line with climate adaptation efforts, and education for sustainability. We're all really on the same page, so we can all link arms and move forward together with the same outcomes in mind.
And so you've been working now, I guess when I first met you, you were really incredibly passionate about getting people to grasp this concept early, and that we really need to stop thinking about this as some kind of, intangible thing that, we aspire to, that it's actually part of everything that we do in our daily lives and also in our systems, in business and industry. So when I first met you, you were incredibly passionate about, particularly about school students and secondary school students learning about the circular economy. Can you tell us about why you think that is so critically important?
Yeah, I think it's important because the transition to a more circular economy is a long-term one. It could span 2 decades. So in order to make this huge shift that we need to make away from a linear economy, which is a take, make, dispose, or a take, make, waste economy, towards a more circular economy where we keep our resources circulating, I believe it's future generations who can lead this transition for us. And I really believe that young people have the most extraordinary capacities for innovative thinking. And I really think that they're the ones that can help us rethink and redesign the future. I think that that's where, we could be putting a lot more attention is on enabling them to lead the change.
And I know there's a lot of focus on schools on STEM and STEAM, and probably add another letter there at some point. Maybe it needs to be a C. But I know you've even put, like, you're so passionate about this. You've even put submissions into like ACARA to say, this needs to be embedded in the curriculum. What are your thoughts? I mean, what would you really think needs to be in schools to be talking about this? Because it's quite. I mean, this is economic policy. This is very technical and pretty heady stuff, once you dig into the circular economy. What do you think would be useful for students to be learning about or to experiencing when they're talking about this sort of stuff?
Such a good question. Well, I am quite fixed on what we can teach children and students in classrooms, because I know that that will lead to change in the schoolyard outside of classrooms. So in the curriculum, we already have the great cross-curriculum priority for sustainability. I'm not a teacher or from education, but I can see that all of the principles are already in there, which is great. I think there's certain subjects that it applies more to. My son is in a STEM program at school, which is great, and they certainly do some great things in science and technology. But I have discovered recently that design is where the movement needs to be, because the first principle of circular economy is to design out waste and pollution. And the lowest of the low-hanging fruit is actually in the senior high school design and technology subject, where in Queensland, circular design is already written into the Queensland syllabus, the Queensland curriculum for that subject. So it makes sense that if design's where the movement needs to be, that we would then make sure that high school students studying this subject at least understand the principles of circular economy, circular design, and stop designing products to exist within a linear system, start to use systems thinking, start to think about solving some of these complex systems challenges, because I know they can do it. We just need to enable them to do it.
And you must see some pretty cool stuff, like we all do, I think, when we start looking for these examples. Is there any that stand out for you that you see in the world? Doesn't have to be, students that have come up with the ideas, but I love this big push to use seaweed to make bioplastics, and like real bioplastics, which actually, can break down in a reasonable way, not just that sort of bioplastic, which ends up behaving the same way that plastic does. But there's some incredible things. What have you heard any lately that you're like, oh my gosh, that's genius? Why have we not thought of that?
Such a good question. I feel like the genius lies in a model, a circular business model called servitization, or product as a service. So it's what really can help shift your thinking from linear thinking to circular thinking. Because when you realize that a product, instead of designing for obsolescence and, reaching the end of its useful life and ending up at the tip, when you start thinking of a product as a service, and that could be a copper mining company not selling its copper to a wind turbine manufacturer, but leasing it on a 25-year lease, which is a great example that came from the Corio course that I did, or Rolls-Royce leasing engines to aircraft manufacturers instead of selling it to them, so that they get those products back at the end of its useful life, and they maintain ownership of these precious resources, which are not infinite and can't. And the earth is, we're extracting 100 billion tons of resources from the earth globally every year. That is an extraordinary amount, and it's just not sustainable. So I think the servitization model is the genius opportunity, because we need to start thinking of products as maybe services instead of products, if that makes sense.
And it is, when you start thinking about that way, it makes you start realizing how many things you buy with the intent to use for such a tiny, period of time, and it's
Right.
and you might think, oh well, the economics don't add up to make a pen that you would buy back, but at the same time, when you multiply that by the millions and millions and millions of completely disposable, designed to be disposable items,
Yeah,
and not
designed to be. That's the key, isn't it?
designed.
Because there's like more than 80% of the environmental impacts of a product are determined at the design stage, which is why I get so excited about design. I'm not a designer. I don't have a design background, but I know that we need to design things differently. And that's where the huge opportunity is. And young minds, they're so fertile, and when they're not, they're so out of the box. They're so fresh, these young minds, and they're not so stuck in the existing ways of thinking that some of us older people can be.
And did I just freeze you? Oh, did I lose you for a sec? I just
No,
lost you.
I'm good.
Oh, there you are. No, I think we're definitely. It's real, because also we're talking about a massive shift in the way that our economic and I guess systems models work. So I think for us who have lived in them for such a long time, when you start talking about this, people go, that just doesn't make any sense. Well, of course I
Right.
own this pen forever, and this is so. It is a lot easier when you start talking about that. And I've done it again with high school kids as well, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. It's like, okay, right.
They just get it. I think they came in hardwired differently. So you
Yeah,
don't have to explain the why as much to them. They
yeah,
just seem to get it, don't they?
yeah. So, you obviously kind of got two hats, and we'll talk about your other hat in a second. But with Circular Economy Pioneers, what is it that you like to do? What is it that your service or that you can do with people to really help?
Well, I really love the idea behind the name Circular Economy Pioneers is to really support the pioneers, the people leading the change. So the most disruptive innovators, the people willing to redesign things, come up with the solutions that we need. I love, the innovation in the space. So those pioneers could be any age, but it's my job to kind of use my PR skills to connect dots around things, and help to share the stories and also build platforms for the people who are really leading the change. And they're the ones that we can all look to for the ideas, guidance, inspiration about, the way forward.
And I certainly know that in the startup and entrepreneur space that PR, comms, marketing, it's often the thing that people are like, I've got this great product, I've got this great solution. Oh gosh, I've got to get people to know about it, want it, understand it. And it's just like this big, heavy piece of like, I don't know what to do there. So is that where you would step in?
Yes, it's almost like writing a book. I used to do book publicity before this, and they say writing a book, 10% of the job is actually writing and publishing the book, 90% is in the marketing and the promotion of the book. So it's like that with anything, isn't it? If people don't know about it. But in order to enable circular economy transition, one of the key things is we need to be able to share and tell stories better. And so I'm definitely not an expert on storytelling yet, but I am learning. And I think we're all learning how to tell stories better because this is going to be really important.
Mm. I think you're obviously seeing a lot across different industries and networks too because of your other role. Can you tell us a little bit? I know you're not here with that hat on today, but I think it is critically important and also interesting for people to understand. Tell us about Planet Ark's ACE Hub and what your role is there.
Absolutely. Well, I feel really privileged to work part-time with Planet Ark because they're really Australia's most trusted environmental behaviour change organisation. And I fit so well with the people there. I'm part of the Australian Circular Economy Hub team, the ACE Hub team. And we have launched a new collaboration platform called the ACE Hub Portal. And it's an online community for all circular economy enthusiasts. So we have now over 1,000 active members, and they're discussing, sharing ideas, sharing learnings, and really just enabling that collaboration space that we need for circular economy. So in Australia. So we also have an app called the ACE Hub Portal that you can get for Apple and Android phones, and collaboration is really the name of the game there.
And so someone would go on and they'd be like, um, I'm looking for someone who knows something about copper, or I really need someone who's got a contact in the bioplastics industry, or
Yes.
I need a teacher who understands design. It's that kind of community, isn't it? It's a very
Exactly. So yeah, you
quite
can
generous.
post exactly if you have a specific question. We had a post recently from someone in Western Australia who had 60 boxes of brand new school uniforms. The school was changing uniforms. They had a logo on them. She didn't know how to avoid sending them to landfill. So we've been bringing in as many people as we can. We were able to connect with a lot of people that we have on the ACE Hub website as case studies already, like Loop and Worn Up. And all of those things are on the ACE Hub website, including the portal link to join. Everyone's welcome to join, and it's acehub.org.au. And so those kinds of shout outs for help are my favorite thing, because it's like, let's all help this person work out how to do this. And you can use the member directory as a really great source of finding people by keywords, by sector, by interest, by location. So it's a really valuable way of connecting and finding other people in circular economy community. And that doesn't have to be just circular economy. It can be anyone involved in the whole big picture green transition. So everybody's very welcome.
Yeah, so definitely a call to action there to join the ACE Hub portal and check it out. It is a great community and it's been very handy. I've linked up with a couple of consultants for different things. I need someone who does this very specific thing, and I found them on there.
Right. Well, that's the idea, isn't it? And we also have a group that I've helped co-facilitate with my Circular Economy Pioneers hat on, which is called Education of Children and Teens for a More Circular Future. So if that is your interest area, please, when you join, request to join that group and we'll let you in. And you know, that's really for teachers and also for anyone who's keen on bringing young people in.
Awesome. Now I ask this question of everyone, and I'll put it also, if anyone's got any questions that they'd like to put in the chat for Chelsea, or if you're feeling brave and you want to ask the question by turning on your microphone, we also will encourage and allow that. But I just wanted to ask you before we move on, one of the things that I like to know, because it aligns obviously with what we do, is what does good mean to you, Chelsea?
That's a good question. Well, for me, it's really important that we're creating new generations of circular thinkers who are different thinkers than we have now. So we have all been conditioned to be linear thinkers, and we are thinking within a linear or a recycling system, and we really need a massive shift to thinking differently. And so we can make the Paris Agreement carbon reductions we need. Good means reducing global greenhouse gas emissions, and good means preserving finite resources for future generations. And this is the part where I sometimes tear up, because, you know, really it's about mitigating the effects of climate change for our children and their children. And I think when it comes down to it, most of us in this space want to be able to have a conversation with our grandchildren that goes along the lines of, I did try and be part of the solution. I promise you I did. You know, not I just knew about it and holy crap, I didn't do anything about it, you know.
Yeah, look, I think that's very well articulated. Lisa's got a comment there that just says she can vouch for the ACE Hub community. She's learning new things and meeting the most amazing and genuine people. Well, there you go, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. We love having you in there. Thanks so much.
I'm interested to know if anyone's got any specific questions for Chelsea. I know Chelsea's also been involved in with the Sustainable Schools Network, which I know are sort of moving into this amazing new space and have got some great things going on. Is there anywhere on else other than your amazing Circular Economy Pioneers page, which I'll share from LinkedIn? Is there anyone else that you would encourage people to check out, to go and read about? You mentioned the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, obviously the sort of source of truth for circular economy things, but anything else that you go, oh, every time I go there, I just go, yes.
Yes, for me, it's all about Layla Ajalu in the Circular Classroom. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she has Unschool. Unschool and Disrupt Design are her business name. She's an Aussie living overseas, and she's a certified LinkedIn change maker. My gosh, does she do some amazing work. She's a sociologist and a designer who focuses on sustainable design and circular economy. So if you go to the circularclassroom.com, all of the resources are there, amazing videos and resources for school teachers that are being used in Finland and the Nordic countries, where circular economy is already part of their school curriculum. And Layla Ajalu has some amazing TED Talks, and it's all about systems thinking and, you know, how we can create a future that works better for us all.
Beautiful. I've just shared that link there too.
Thank you.
I've heard her name. I just had a look at the Circular Classroom there now, and I'm
so good.
Excited. I've learned
and
something.
There's no point reinventing any of that work. Layla is wanting us to use it and to go forth in the world. As an Aussie that's not here in Australia, I'm sure she'd love us to just pick up what all the amazing work she's done, resources. You can buy even games for school students on her website, Unschool. And there's videos and there's courses. There's really no point any of us reinventing that work. The Ellen MacArthur Foundation has so many resources for young people, for school teachers, and there really is amazing resources already created. So there's no lack of resources on this, which is really good news because I'm not
No,
really
a
good at
lack of
creating
time
them.
and capacity. But no,
Really?
there's certainly, I mean, it is phenomenal, isn't it? And I think in Australia we often think, oh yeah, this all sounds a bit kind of out there and like, sure, yeah, we can become circular. And then you actually see, you know, there are countries that are just screaming forward in this. And what an
Yeah.
opportunity. I mean, we're in a phenomenal place to, because of where we are and the climate and the opportunities that we have to just do some really phenomenal things. And anyone who talks about climate action as this, doom and gloom kind of reductionist, you're going to have to live in a box. And it is the most exciting space, I think, when you start looking at the opportunities for economic growth and for new industries and design. And so, and I get excited. I think that's,
It
like you,
doesn't
as we've
even
had
mean
many
we have to consume less. It doesn't even mean we have to consume less or give up the luxuries that we have today. It's just about thinking in a completely different way about how we consume things. Like we said before, product as a service models enable you to be a customer rather than a consumer. Doesn't mean you can't have things. We're just going to consume differently, which requires a really different shift in thinking to a more systems and design thinking approach. That's all.
It's pretty exciting. I think we might head towards wrapping it up there, Chelsea. I really want to thank you for your energy and excitement and for those great links. If anyone else has anything they want to ask or say or put in the chat, by all means, please do that now. Yeah, it's absolutely encourage everyone to check out Chelsea on her Circular Economy Pioneers page. Join the ACE Hub, go and check out the Circular Classroom and Ellen MacArthur's fantastic resources. There's no shortage of information out there for everyone. And if people could do one thing after today, apart from joining all those things, what would you encourage them to do, Chelsea?
Good question. I honestly think it's just starting with changing our own way of thinking and little behaviors like stopping to have your coffee at the coffee shop, or remembering your keep cup when you get a coffee, or remembering your refillable water bottle. Those little things are starting to get us on track of, we can all be part of this change. And then, we could have a conversation with a young person about it and help them understand it a little better too. But before I go, Jo, can I just say hello to Erin Merrin, who I was working with at the Sustainable Schools Network or volunteering with, and Naomi Findlay, who's also doing some amazing work with young people in South Australia, and also to Lisa, who I've already said hello to. Hello.
That's fantastic. And look, if you guys all want to share your amazing networks or projects, please throw them in the link as well, and we'll make sure we share that on the recording when we post it as well. By all means, nothing. No one's shy here. We once a plug, always a plug.
Naomi, you need to put your LinkedIn article link in there, Naomi. It's so good.
I love this. We get Chelsea. For Chelsea we get the price of.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm just doing a little bit of work while I'm listening. I've got a few things going on, so
that's
so good to
anyway,
hear you.
now I can say you.
No, please share. We'd love you to if you can copy that article in. We'd love to share.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Thank you. Well, thank you all. I hope you all have a great Friday and a wonderful weekend. There we go. We've got a few more. Please check out Climate Hug. Beautiful. There you go.
Absolutely.
Look at mental health outcomes. And the impact that climate change and those very real emotions can have on us all. I don't know about anyone else, but the only antidote I have to those dark days is to go and take some kind of step into something a bit more positive. And so, Chelsea, thank you for being that for me today, and surrounding ourselves with wonderfully. Oh, there's a beautiful article. Thank you. For wonderful, passionate people, and yeah, look after yourselves and each other, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much, Jo. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Thanks, Naomi.